The spring will bring boxing fans several super fights at once. It's interesting that the main focus of fans and experts would be on the lightweight division. At first, Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia clashed in a battle of super talents. And following them, two leaders of the division will enter the ring. May 20th at the MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas, the two kings face off in a showdown. Undisputed and undefeated American champion Devin Haney will clash with Ukrainian virtuoso Vasyl Lomachenko, who is called the Gray Cardinal of lightweight. The top-ranked matchmakers behind the mega fight have presented a stunning poster titled Checkmate that perfectly describes the upcoming match. It will be a battle of intelligences, a fight of styles, a clash of team strategies and paternal ambitions. Of course, it will be an absolutely magnificent confrontation between two kinds of performance skills. And in our preview, we'll remember the way of the opponents and analyze their main shortcomings and strengths. Here's the Boxing Classics channel, and this is the countdown to Devin Haney versus Vasyl Lomachenko. There's no secret that Vasyl Lomachenko's professional path is coming to the finish line. The 35-year-old Ukrainian will have fought his 20th fight, which will be the most important event in his sporting career. Almost 7 years ago, in his second appearance in the pro ring, Vasyl fought for the first time for the championship title and
Orlando City, Toledo.
The defeat was controversial and painful in all senses, but Orlando Toledo must be praised. Loma couldn't find an antidote to his dirty style. However, only 3 months after the fight, Vasyl was given a second chance, and this time he didn't let it go. The fight against Gary Russell became one of the best in High-Tech's career. The WBO title was a well-deserved trophy. For that moment, Vasyl worked all his life. In 2016, Lomachenko moved up to super featherweight and brutally carried down Roman Martinez. From that moment, the most successful part of a Ukrainian boxer's career began. The next 4 opponents, once in the same ring as High-Tech, had no choice and to throw down the white flag. By that time, Vasyl had firmly established a new nickname, the Matrix. But much more interesting is what those opponents were. Jason Sosa and Miel Mariaga are the real tops. And especially valuable were the scalps of Jamaican axeman Nicholas Walters and Cuban technician Guillermo Rigondo. The first one of them couldn't take the shame of defeat and threw away his axe altogether with his boxing gloves. So what about Rigondo? The performances of the famous Cuban lost their former brilliance, and his career has gone into the sunset. After such dominant performances, Vasyl began to be called Lomachenko.
Now my name is Lomachenko. All right.
Though the championship titles in 2 categories couldn't satisfy all the ambitions of the Ukrainian boxer, Vasyl has set up an ambitious goal to become the undisputed world champion by moving to lightweight. And in October 2020, Loma was only half a step away from the aspirational goal. Lomachenko had lost by judge's decision to Teofimo Lopez, losing 3 belts that were in his power. Just as the beginning of his journey, the Ukrainian had a painful and highly controversial defeat. In some ways, Lomachenko is feeling a déjà vu effect. He got a second chance again, exactly at the moment when his career was on the verge of a defining fight. Vasyl would cap off past failures if he beat Devin Haney, but one more fiasco will rob him of any hope of greatness.
I'll be honest with you, it's the last chance for me be undisputed world champion. It looks like I prepare for first Olympic Games. I go to bed with this dream, I wake up with this dream, I live with this dream. And of course, we train hard, we prepare this, and it's a big, big motivation.
In a completely different stage of his career stands the 24-year-old American Devin Haney, nicknamed The Dream. Nobody doubts the talent of the young lightweight. Absolute champion status proves our statement. Talented, extremely quick, and incredibly insightful, Devin has already gathered an army of fans and haters. And that's the sign of a great athlete. But for all his qualities and champion titles, his true potential is still untested. Haney is still approaching the top condition, and all the most dangerous opponents are waiting for him in the near future. Devin represents a new generation of superstars who are destined to replace their predecessors. The American began his professional career early. As a 16-year-old boy, he made his debut in the Mexican ring. A year later, he became Floyd Mayweather's sparring partner and helped him prepare for his fight with Conor McGregor. After Floyd retired, Devin Haney became a follower of his smart boxing philosophy: hit and don't get hit back. Many even argue that he looks like Mayweather, but that's not really the truth. Devin's style is much more rational and even more defensively oriented. For the first 3 years of performing, Devin was on a sack diet until he started fighting for regional titles. That's when he met decent opposition for the first time. In September 2019, Haney stepped out for his first title fight and crushed Zaur Abdullayev over 4 rounds. A year later, the talented lightweight got his first notable scalp in his collection. Cuban Yuriorkis Gamboa became a stepping stone to the elite for Devin. After a fairly easy bout, Haney defeated another veteran, Jorge Linares, and defeated former champion Joseph Diaz. Nevertheless, Haney had some trouble in those bouts. It was only last June that the American star finally rose to the top. At the time, the surprise leader of the lightweight class was Australian George Kambosos, who replaced Teofimo Lopez. George was the one-day champion and completely easy prey for Haney. The American had come to Melbourne, declassed Kambosos in front of his own hometown crowd, demolished him like a first grader. 4 months later, he did an encore master class again.
The unified lightweight champion of the world, Devin the Dream Haney!
2 weeks after his fight, Haney visited New York City to watch Lomachenko fight against Jamemi Ortiz. The American's size advantage was clearly visible during the first face-off.
I think it wasn't the best performance, but I know that if me and Loma was a fight, a better version would be on that night. But congratulations, and hopefully we can get it on.
You have said
Is this lightweight? Is this lightweight?
He's a big lightweight, huh?
No, it's heavyweight.
Now,
In the ring, I'll show you.
Okay. I will be ready.
Amazingly, a fighter in pro boxing is judged only by his last performance. This is the reality of the sport. Titles, glory, big wins, and loud defeats, it doesn't matter. But it's a mistake to believe that the youth factor alone will determine the result of the upcoming battle. No question, Devin Haney deserves to be the odds-on favorite. It wasn't just his merits that shaped the balance of power, though. His opponent's troubles really mattered. Doubts in Vasyl's victory are caused by regular injuries, long-term downtime, and of course, by his age. But that's what lies on the surface. It's not hard to see the advantage of a young, progressing athlete. Well, let's do a little more digging. Haney was cool against the not-so-capable Kambosos, but should the Australian skills be compared to Lomachenko's? What about Devin's difficulty against Diaz and Linares? Let's remember another key tactical point that always gives Vasyl the edge. He has excellent cardio, and that's why he always gets better in the second half of the fight. Vasyl is especially active in the championship rounds. The Ukrainian man manages to distribute his energy better than his younger competitors. By the way, Devin Haney has the same pace in his fights. Not a single fighter in the world has ever made Devin fight at the limit of his power. Tactically, fighters want the same thing: to hit and not get hit back. But the performance of these strategies is completely different. Haney is all about timing and distance. The American is comfortable fighting from afar, using his long reach. Lomachenko is a fighter of high speed, mobility, and accuracy. These aspects are important, but only in terms of performance skills. The direct plan to victory is built during the training camp. The strategic tasks that the boxers will use will be built by their fathers, and at the same time mentors, Vasyl Haney and Anatoly Lomachenko. That's why the fight is called checkmate. Devin Haney and Vasyl Lomachenko are like pieces on the chessboard, guided by their fathers. No doubt, each team will prepare several scenarios. The boxers will be using their homework and setting traps. We should mention another discrete advantage of the Ukrainian team. It's the fact of having a defeat. You didn't mishear that. Any failure leads to correcting mistakes and trying to avoid them. Well, on May 20th, a terrific Grandmasters game in the ring, and perhaps a dramatic, unpredictable resolution awaits fans. Sadly, we can't predict the outcomes. Whoever comes out the winner, it will be a triumph of excellence, smarts, and coolness. And that is the real gift for the true lovers of smart, high-class boxing.